Welcome back to the year 1986 as we continue our look at the Transformers toy line by Hasbro. In our previous episodes, we took a look at characters from Transformers the movie, such as Rodimus Prime, Cup, and the evil Galvatron. During the film, Galvatron attacks Autobot City and forces a small group of our heroes to evacuate. Among them are the Autobot Commander, Ultra Magnus, Springer, RC, and Blurr. And today, we'll be taking a look at the fast-talking Autobot courier, Blurr, here on Creed's Collection. Hey everyone, today we are looking at the Autobot courier, Blurr. Along with Rodimus Prime and Cup, Blurr was introduced in Transformers the movie and has gone on to become one of the most memorable and beloved of all of the Transformers. Blurr is the fastest land-based Autobot, and he mostly uses his incredible speed to deliver important information as a courier. But Blurr doesn't just deliver things quickly. He does everything so fast that he leaves a blurred trail in his wake, definitely living up to his name. Blurr was voiced by John Machida Jr., and if you grew up in the 80s, you remember him as the fast-talking Micro Machines guy. At the time, Machida was the holder of the Guinness Book of World Records for most words spoken in a minute, so he was the perfect choice to voice Blurr in the film. Now that we've covered a little bit of Blurr's background and history, let's go ahead and take a closer look at him in his vehicle form. Blurr transforms into a futuristic race car, and I think he looks amazing. I like his color scheme, and I like how sleek and aerodynamic he is. Even though he was a hover car in the film and TV show, they did include wheels on the toy so you could roll him around. If you flip him over here, you see he's got 4 wheels on the bottom, 2 here and 2 in the back. While I appreciate the effort, he does not roll at all. But that's okay because I never did roll him anyway. I'd always just pick him up and pretend like he was flying around. Just like that. Okay, let's go ahead and transform Blurr into robot mode. This piece on the front here, we're just going to pull it straight off. It's still incredibly tight. There we go. Once you get it off, just set it to the side. We'll come back to that at the end. Okay, now you're going to want to take Blurr and flip him over and see his legs here at the bottom. Grab them from the back, and you want to slowly pop him out like so. Once you have his legs straightened out, these 2 wheels here at the bottom, you just want to push in on them like so. And that pops his toes out. Now that his lower body is completely done, you take this piece here, pull it down, and fold it back, and repeat on the other side. That exposes his arms. Then you want to push those down. Okay, we're almost there. Now we just want to take this back piece and fold it down, and then it should go flush against his back, just like so. And now you want to lift his head all the way up. Now the front hood of the car that we pulled off in the beginning, that's going to become his shield. If you take that piece and flip it over on the back, you'll see a peg, and that just slots neatly into his hand, just like so. And now let's go ahead and take a full 360 look at Blurr in his robot mode, which I think is one of the better looking robot modes of all the Transformers. I'm not sure if it's his design or the color choices they used, but whatever it is, there's something about Blurr I find incredibly aesthetically pleasing. Where the original Series 1 and 2 Transformers were all squared off and blocky looking, the ones introduced in the movie were all much sleeker in their design, and I really appreciated that. While some kids in the 80s really balked at the idea of all the new Transformers coming in and replacing their old favorites, I was really excited about it and happy to see new blood. As we get closer, you can see that Blurr has a pretty awesome face sculpt. Really the only complaint I have with him in robot mode is I think his arms are just a bit stubby. Beyond that, he looks really great. His stickers have held up fantastic, his paint has held up well, and I consider him a high quality toy. Here's a closer look at his face and head sculpt in 3/4 view. Here's the back of the figure. As you can see, there's not a lot to check out here. It's mostly where all the car bits fold up and hide when he's in his robot mode. This is a good time though to point out that Blurr is mostly die-cast metal, probably about 70%, so he actually has a little bit of weight to him and he feels really solid. As far as articulation, Blurr does have bendable knees, already making him better than Rodimus and Cup. His legs also will go back, but they will not go forward any farther than straight. His toes will point down and up. His arms have a shoulder joint that moves up or down. And his head can actually look down as part of the transformation, but you can also use it to pose him a little bit. Blurr's copyright information is hidden underneath the part that folds down to become his backpack. 1986 Hasbro and Takara, made in Japan. Blurr has 2 included accessories. He has a non-lethal rifle that freezes enemies in place, and he also has his shield. This is the piece that attaches it to the front of the car, and the peg here we already showed, that's how he holds it. And now for our He-Man size comparison. Blurr has about an inch on He-Man if you include his antenna on top of his head, but I think that He-Man would destroy Blurr in a fight. Well, if he could catch him, which he couldn't, so we're going to have to call this one a stalemate. Everyone, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my toy review for Blurr from the 1986 toy line Transformers by Hasbro. One of my favorite things about Blurr is the fact that his shield is incorporated into his car design, because a lot of the Transformers, their accessories would just have to be set to the side when they were in vehicle mode, and that was always frustrating to me as a child. So for me, Blurr was a step in the right direction. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up, and if you have any thoughts, please leave a comment. I love reading and responding to them. And while you're at it, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it, and it would help my channel grow. I review a toy from my vintage collection every Wednesday, so I hope to see you next week and every week after, here on Creed's Collection.